Hello, welcome back to The Lowe Show. I'm your host, Kaylin Lowe, and today we're discussing the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Our guests will include several Twain scholars, Huck and Jim, as well as the author himself, Mr. Mark Twain. Audience members will also be allowed to ask questions to help fuel the debate. It's great to have you all here today. Could you please go around and introduce yourselves?
My name is Alan Gribben, and I am a professor of English at Auburn University, as well as a Mark Twain scholar. And I believe that we should change a couple words in Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn.
My name is Rachel Fong, and I am also a Mark Twain scholar. I want to broaden the audience of Huck Finn, and I also believe we need to change a few words.
Hey y'all, my name's Huck. I'm real excited to be here. I ain't ever been on TV before. Why, there isn't such a thing back in my day. I talk, I'm on the TV.
I'm Jim, and I think that Mark Twain didn't do nothing wrong.
I agree with that. Hello, I'm the man himself, Mark Twain, the author of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
Mr. Gribben, can you tell us about why you decided to change some words in the book?
Well, I'm not trying to make the book colorblind. I'm just changing a couple of the words so it's more applicable to the 21st century.
Well, I would appreciate it if you left my book alone and didn't censor it.
Yeah, let Mark Twain alone!
I think that saying what you're doing is censorship is a bit extreme. We're just changing one word.
Ha! Don't try to say you aren't censoring my book. The definition of censorship is the suppression or prohibition of any parts of books, films, news, etc. that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to security.
Why, I reckon that's what Mr. Griffin's doing. Ain't that not allowed? I thought them writers could say whatever they wanted to.
That's right, Huck. There's something called the First Amendment that comes from the Bill of Rights. It gives us the freedom of press as well as other rights.
You cannot apply the First Amendment here. What you're doing is no way a violation of your inalienable rights.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the part concerning freedom of speech in the First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. In our case, no law is being made and no government is involved at all.
Exactly. The original text, without our altercations, is still available online. We are just providing an alternative option.
Interesting.
You're still changing my work. Once you edit my book, it isn't The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain anymore.
Let's open this debate up to the audience. Will the first person please stand?
Hello, Mr. Mark Twain. I just want to let you know I'm a fan of your work, and it's an honor to meet you, sir.
Well, thank you, young man. You seem like a smart lad.
Introduce yourself and state your position.
I am Mikel Las Piñas, and I believe in preserving the purity of the original text. Other people have no right to vandalize Mark Twain's work. It is his intellectual property, and everything was written that way for a reason.
Look, all I'm saying is we should just replace one word, the N word, into something more acceptable, like slave.
What? Jim ain't a slave no more. I'm a free nigga now.
Yeah, Jim ain't a slave. Oh, Miss Watson, died and set him free.
See, by replacing nigger with slave, you're altering the story's accuracy.
That's not true. Jim's status of freedom is only revealed at the very end of the book. Throughout the book, it is still believed that Jim is in fact a slave, so it would not alter the book's authenticity at all.
I don't know what you're saying, but I ain't no slave.
Well, do you like being called the N-word?
What word? Nigger? Why, what's wrong with it? I reckon that's what Jim is, ain't he?
It's a racial slur that degrades African Americans.
Obviously, nigger was quite commonly used back in their time. It was not viewed as taboo in the 1800s when Huck and Jim were on their adventures. Mr. Gribben, what you're doing is wrong and many people feel that way. That's all I wanted to say.
Exactly. I wrote colloquial diction, so naturally I used words that were common in normal conversations during that time.
Well, times have changed, and the excessive use of that word is no longer common, nor appropriate. It is offensive and vulgar.
Well, is it? Is the word itself offensive, or does it depend on your perception?
Well, words have set definitions. The dictionary defines it, the N-word, as a contemptuous term to describe black people.
Why, I haven't got a clue what that means. What's contemptuous?
It basically means to express disrespect or ill feelings.
Well, I felt that from Hug. He's my best friend. Calls me nigger all the time.
Yeah, nigger. Nigger just means he's black. That's all it means. It don't hurt nobody.
Actually, it has evolved to very racial slander. It's almost synonymous with cruel and hateful racism.
You know, in religion and politics, people's beliefs and convictions are in almost every case gotten at secondhand and without examination. You say it is a social understanding. Well, what does society know?
Society knows of what African Americans overcame. It opens its eyes to past mistakes and black stains in history, and it is trying to make a brighter future. Using this word openly brings the discrimination of the past into the present.
In 1864, a Merriam-Webster dictionary defined nigger simply as a synonym of Negro, I say that in the past, this word was fine. It's only in the present social belief that gives the word its heinous meaning.
Well, you know what else was acceptable until the 13th Amendment was ratified in 1865? Slavery. Would you say that should be allowed now too?
I don't think that a word matters much. Slavery got its own issues, I think. Saying a word and slavery ain't the same thing.
Yeah, words ain't actions. Just 'cause someone said nigger don't mean they want to go enslave peoples.
But the word is just degrading and views them as nothing more than slaves.
Words are just sounds that fall from our mouths. Slavery was much more than that. People exaggerate all the time when they talk. We shouldn't take what everyone says seriously.
Okay, let's have someone else speak. Please introduce yourself and state your position.
Hello, my name is Kristen, and I support the argument to edit Twain's work in order to make it more appropriate.
Can you expand on why you support it?
Well, I'm a mother, and I refuse to allow my children to grow up thinking it's acceptable to use such disrespectful language. If schools teach this book in its original edition, students will read that word and may think it's appropriate to use with each other.
Ma'am, with all due respect, it is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubts. But I guess, in your case, it's too late.
Excuse me?
If you truly believe that reading my book will immediately convince your children that it is okay to use such an awful word, then maybe you should teach them better. If all it takes to break their morals is a book, then I guess their ideals weren't very strong in the first place.
Your books are classics and have a significant influence on more than just the students. Teachers also see your use of the N-word as a green light to...
A classic, a book which people praise and don't read. I highly doubt that my students are truly touched by my writing. I'm sure it just bores them by now.
Mr. Twain, your book is taught in schools all around the nation. Many young adults are analyzing your work and being influenced by your words.
Ha! I always know that I'd be famous. I suppose I do got a big effect on people.
Yes, Huck. Kids read about you every single year. All we want is to get even more people to read about you. But some are uncomfortable with the language.
Words are powerful and very influential. Children are young and their minds are easily warped. I just wanted to say that many parents, myself included, support the decision to publish an altered version of this great classic. That's all.
So I guess it really isn't clear what to do. It just depends on your opinion.
Yes, well, situations like these are very messy, and no one solution will make everyone satisfied.
I say that if someone doesn't like my writing or word choice, then it's none of their business. They don't need to read it.
I still don't get why they're making a big fuss over this word.
I just don't get why people praise Mr. Mark Twain if they're just gonna turn around and change his book.
We just want to make the book more appropriate.
Looks like we're out of time. Thank you and good night.
Bye, Tom! We'll see you tomorrow!
Our guests will include some of... Okay, let's have someone else speak.
You're not eating when you're hungry.
Sniggers meaning.
Innovation that excites.
And the Mark Twain scholar, for the rest, is a bit extreme. It is not exactly sensory.
Action.
My name is Rachel Fong, and I am also a Mark Twain scholar. Society knows of what African Americans overcame. It opens its past.
Action.
You ain't you when you're hungry.
Sniggers mini.
What? Jimmy ain't no slave no more. I'm a free nigga. What? Jimmy ain't no slave no more. I'm a free nigga.
Then,
What?
then it's much better. Like slave.
What? Jimmy ain't no slave.
Hello, I just want to say, Mr. Mark Twain, it's an honor to meet you, sir. Your work is amazing, and I was...
Excuse me? Wait, are you actually recording?
No.
Oh, sorry.
You doing, Jim? Oh!